In the Old West, danger lurked around every corner. But some men didn't just survive, they thrived, with six-shooters and steady hands that carved their names into legend. These weren't just gunslingers. They were legends with lightning reflexes and a killer-be-killed grit. Whether driven by vengeance, justice, or a love for the thrill, they left a trail of tales as fierce as the frontier itself. Get ready to meet the 10 most lethal gunslingers who stalked the West and made history in a hail of bullets. John King Fisher. John King Fisher was born in October 1853 near Dallas, Texas, during a period of significant turmoil in the region. Growing up in an environment where Texas ranches frequently encountered trouble from bandits, Fisher became familiar with the lawlessness that pervaded the area. His early years were marked by a rebellious streak, and he faced his first major encounter with the law at just 18 when he was arrested for horse theft. Serving a 2-year prison sentence, Fisher emerged with a new sense of direction, albeit a risky one, drawn to the rough and resilient life of a cowboy. His primary work involved breaking and taming horses, a task that required both strength and skill, qualities he was beginning to be known for. By his early 20s, Fisher had started engaging in local posse, often assisting Texas ranchers as they defended their lands and livelihoods against increasingly frequent raids. These raids posed severe threats to the safety of ranch families, often leading to lost property and destroyed livelihoods. Over time, Fisher developed a reputation for his swift reflexes, especially his ability to draw a gun quickly, which gained him respect among both allies and rivals. In 1878, during an intense disagreement with 4 Mexican cowboys, Fisher reportedly responded with a quick and decisive defense when the altercation escalated. Accounts suggest that he instinctively used a branding iron to defend himself, resulting in further escalation as one of the cowboys reportedly drew a pistol. Fisher's quick response solidified his reputation, yet it also reinforced the aura of danger that surrounded him. Tragically, in March 1884, Fisher found himself in another heated situation, this time in the company of his friend, Ben Thompson. The disagreement led to a confrontation that proved fatal for both Fisher and Thompson. Reports indicate that the encounter left several people injured to varying degrees, underscoring the tense and unpredictable atmosphere of such gatherings in that era. Fisher's passing left a legacy shrouded in stories of his resilience, and by his own acknowledgement, he claimed to have ended the lives of 37 men throughout his lifetime, a testament to the perilous life he led in the unforgiving Old West. Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves was born into enslavement in Crawford County, Arkansas, in 1848, during a period of intense division and social upheaval in the United States. His early years were marked by forced labor, and his owner eventually relocated to Texas, while Reeves was still a young boy. The exact details of Reeves's life during the Civil War remain a bit of a mystery. Some historians suggest he may have had a confrontation with his owner, leading to his escape to freedom, though other theories also exist regarding his path to liberty. Following the Civil War, Reeves embarked on a remarkable journey to become one of the first African-American U.S. Marshals in the post-war period, pioneering a new era for African Americans in law enforcement. This role was a significant achievement during Reconstruction, as he was tasked with upholding the law in the chaotic, often lawless territories of the Western frontier. Known for his unwavering commitment to justice, Reeves became one of the most esteemed figures in law enforcement at the time. Throughout his career, Reeves was known for his unshakable resolve in apprehending criminals, handling over 3,000 arrests across the West, and navigating the complex relationships within the communities he served. His determination was so strong that at one point, he even brought his own son to justice when the young man was charged with a serious crime. This event highlights Reeves's deeply held values of integrity and duty, placing his responsibility to the law above personal ties. Reeves's legacy extended beyond his retirement in 1907, when he served as a police officer in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Many believe that his dedication and strength in upholding justice may have inspired the fictional character of the Lone Ranger, adding to his legendary status in popular culture. His life and accomplishments were later commemorated in a television series, bringing his story and contributions to a wider audience and solidifying his place as a pioneering lawman of the Old West. Jesse James. Jesse Woodson James, one of the most infamous figures of the Old West, rose to prominence as the leader of a gang of outlaws in the mid-19th century. Born in September 1847 in western Missouri, Jesse's life was profoundly shaped by the tensions of the Civil War, which divided communities and families across the region. Alongside his older brother Frank, Jesse joined pro-Confederate guerrilla fighters, known as bushwhackers, who were active in the volatile border states of Missouri and Kansas. Under the command of leaders like William Quantrill and Bloody Bill Anderson, Jesse and Frank were involved in a series of brutal skirmishes aimed at Union forces and civilians who supported abolition. One of the most controversial events tied to the bushwhackers was the Centralia Massacre of 1864, in which Confederate guerrillas ambushed Union troops, leaving lasting scars on the communities affected. The bushwhackers, who used unconventional and guerrilla-style tactics, played a significant role in shaping Jesse's approach to his later life as an outlaw. After the Civil War ended, Jesse and Frank formed a gang with the Younger family, and together they became known as the James Younger Gang. Operating throughout the Midwest, they engaged in a series of robberies targeting banks, trains, and stagecoaches. Jesse was often portrayed as a Robin Hood-like figure, although the reality was more complex. Historical records suggest he killed at least 17 individuals over the course of his life, with some estimates even higher. The gang's activities made Jesse both a celebrated and feared figure, but they also attracted the attention of law enforcement and rival gangs. Ultimately, Jesse's life came to a tragic end in 1882, when he was betrayed by Robert Ford, a fellow gang member. According to reports, Ford shot Jesse from behind while he was adjusting a picture on the wall of his home. Jesse's death marked the end of an era for his gang and cemented his legacy as a legendary, if controversial, character in American folklore. Jim Miller, outlaw. Killin' Jim Miller, an infamous American outlaw and skilled gunfighter, reportedly took the lives of 12 individuals in gunfights over his lifetime. Born in Van Buren, Arkansas, in October 1861, he spent his formative years in Texas. By 19, he was living with his widowed mother, siblings, and brother-in-law. On July 30th, 1884, a dispute with his brother-in-law escalated, leading to a fatal outcome. Although initially charged with the crime, Miller avoided a life sentence due to a legal technicality, a twist that would mark his ongoing relationship with the law. Miller's next significant encounter with violence involved lawman Joe Townsend, solidifying his growing reputation as a dangerous figure. Following a period of travel and transient work, Miller settled into the life of a saloon owner in Pecos, Texas, where he also served as a lawman. Despite his role in upholding the law, Miller's path shifted further into the shadows. After a stint with the Texas Rangers, he ultimately transitioned into a career as a professional assassin, known for his discretion and willingness to take on high-stakes contracts across the region. In 1909, Miller accepted a contract that ultimately led to his arrest. Unlike previous incidents, this mission left witnesses, resulting in his capture shortly afterward. Local residents, concerned he might evade justice once again, took drastic measures. A group formed a posse, storming the jailhouse on April 19, 1909, to ensure Miller would face a final reckoning alongside 3 associates. Before his hanging, Miller made 2 final requests, demonstrating his sense of personal pride and connection to family. He asked that his diamond ring be returned to his wife and that he be permitted to wear his signature black hat. His requests were honored, and with apparent resolve, Miller reportedly shouted, "Let her rip," before stepping off the box himself. Miller's dramatic end became part of his complex legacy, encapsulating the tension between law, personal code, and the chaotic justice of the Old West. Tom Horn. Thomas Horn Jr., born in 1860, was known as a skilled gunman and a complex figure in the law enforcement landscape of the American Old West. His reputation took shape during the infamous Lincoln County War in New Mexico, where he served as a hired enforcer for cattleman John Chisholm. Horn's expertise with firearms and unwavering resolve made him a formidable opponent, earning him the nickname Tommy among his peers. His work during this time set the stage for a career defined by both admiration and fear. Horne's talents soon caught the attention of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, where he was employed as a detective. His time with the agency further solidified his name in Western history, but his methods were often unconventional. Horne was known for pushing legal boundaries, which brought him both respect and controversy, as he was often willing to employ any tactic necessary to complete his assignments. This approach made him a polarizing figure, viewed by some as a hero who maintained order, and by others as a threat who disregarded the rule of law. The event that ultimately defined Horne's legacy was his conviction for the murder of Willie Nickel, a 14-year-old boy. This tragic incident, which led to his execution, remains one of the most debated moments in Western lore. Many believed Horne was wrongly accused, pointing to insufficient evidence and suggesting he may have been framed due to his work on behalf of powerful cattle and mining interests, which had made him numerous enemies. This potential miscarriage of justice added a layer of mystery and tragedy to Horne's story. To this day, the story of Tom Horne is marked by questions and differing perspectives, reflecting the harsh and often ambiguous nature of frontier life. His tale endures as a reminder of the blurred lines between law and justice in the Old West, where personal reputation could elevate a man to legendary status or lead him to a tragic end. Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp, one of the most iconic figures in American history, has left an indelible mark on popular culture, inspiring numerous films and being portrayed by a host of Hollywood actors. Born on March 19, 1848, Earp lived a remarkable life until his passing in January 1929. He earned his reputation as both a lawman and a gambler in notable frontier towns such as Dodge City, Deadwood, and Tombstone. His involvement in the infamous gunfight at the Oakley Corral in 1881 solidified his place in the annals of the Wild West, where law enforcement confronted 3 members of the Cochise County Cowboys. While Wyatt Earp is often seen as the central figure in this legendary confrontation, it is important to recognize the significant role played by his brother, Virgil Earp. On that fateful day, Virgil served as Deputy U.S. Marshal and also held the title of Tombstone City Marshal. His extensive background in law enforcement, which included experience as a sheriff, constable, and marshal, gave him a depth of understanding about the complexities of maintaining order in such a tumultuous environment. This context is often overshadowed by the dramatic retellings that emphasize Wyatt's actions during the shootout. Despite the complexities of his career, Earp is frequently celebrated as a heroic figure of the West. However, his legacy is nuanced by the fact that he was involved in the deaths of between 8 and 30 individuals throughout his law enforcement career, reflecting the violent reality of life in that era. Earp's life and the choices he made continue to evoke strong opinions, illustrating the multifaceted nature of historical interpretation. Wyatt Earp passed away in Hollywood at the age of 80, having developed prostate cancer. While the specific circumstances surrounding his death remain uncertain, it is noted that he was accompanied by his common-law wife during his final moments. His story endures, encapsulating the complex interplay between law, morality, and the myths that shape our understanding of the Old West. Wild Bill Hickock, born James Hickock on May 27, 1837, in Homer, Illinois, Wild Bill Hickock has become an enduring American folk hero whose exploits have been immortalized in a myriad of films, television shows, novels, and comic books. His life on the American frontier was multifaceted, encompassing roles as a soldier, scout, lawman, cattle rustler, gunslinger, gambler, showman, and actor. Hickock's experiences in the Old West were marked by his participation in numerous high-profile gunfights, which contributed to his legendary status. Throughout his tumultuous life, Hickock held a wide array of jobs, transitioning from an outlaw to a lawman by the end of his journey. This remarkable versatility underscores the complexity of his character and the era in which he lived. Historical accounts attribute more than 100 kills to him during his time as a gunfighter, a figure that speaks to both the violent nature of the West and his reputation as a formidable opponent in duels. One of his most celebrated encounters was with Davis Tutt, a duel that has gained notoriety for its dramatic circumstances. Hickock famously shot Tutt from a distance of 75 yards, a remarkable feat that still impresses gun enthusiasts today. Tragically, Hickock's life came to an abrupt end in the summer of 1876 when he was shot in the back of the head by Jack McCall while engaged in a game of five-card stud. At that moment, Hickock held a pair of black aces and a pair of black eights, a hand that has since been dubbed the dead man's hand. This moniker serves as a poignant reminder of the intersection of chance and fate that characterized Hickock's life and the unpredictable nature of the frontier. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, perhaps the most renowned and controversial outlaw of the Old West, carved out his notorious reputation in New Mexico. Although he would later become synonymous with lawlessness, he was actually born in New York City. His family gradually migrated westward, eventually settling in the rugged landscapes of the frontier. It was during this time that Billy became embroiled in a life of crime, associating with several infamous gangs and playing a significant role in the Lincoln County Cattle War, a violent conflict that highlighted the turbulent nature of life in that era. In December 1880, Billy the Kid was apprehended by Sheriff Pat Garrett, leading to a high-profile trial for murder in Mesilla, New Mexico, the following year. The outcome of the trial was grim. He was found guilty and sentenced to hang. However, on April 28, 1881, he managed to escape from jail, a daring act that resulted in the deaths of 2 deputies during his flight. For a time, he remained elusive, evading capture until Garrett tracked him down in a dramatic ambush. In this fateful encounter, Garrett shot Billy in the back, marking the end of the outlaw's brief but eventful life. While folklore suggests that Billy the Kid was responsible for the deaths of 21 men, historians generally agree that the true number was closer to 10. This embellishment reflects the larger-than-life persona that surrounded him and the mystique of the Wild West. Adding to the intrigue surrounding his legacy, the film Young Guns explores the theory that Billy the Kid may have assumed a new identity as Aliel, Brushy Bill Roberts. According to this narrative, Roberts escaped from prison, traveled between Mexico and the U.S. Southwest, participated in Wild West shows, and ultimately died in 1950 in Hickock, Texas. The story of Billy the Kid continues to captivate the imagination, serving as a lens through which we can explore themes of rebellion, the law, and the complex nature of heroism in the tumultuous landscape of the Old West. His life epitomizes the conflict between the romanticized image of the outlaw and the harsh realities of a life marked by violence and loss. Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley, born in August 1860 in Greenville, Ohio, is celebrated not for her role as a killer, but for her exceptional marksmanship, which arguably makes her the finest gunslinger of the 19th century. Her journey began at a young age. By just 8 years old, she demonstrated her shooting skills by successfully hunting a squirrel from her front porch. Unlike many of her contemporaries who turned to lives of crime, Oakley used her talent to support her family, providing food through her hunts and even covering the mortgage on their home with the income she generated from selling game. At the age of 15, Oakley faced off against the renowned sharpshooter Frank Butler, a competition that she won, showcasing her remarkable skill. Despite their age difference, the two married the following year and maintained a deep bond throughout their lives, passing away just 3 weeks apart. Her prowess as a performer caught the attention of Chief Sitting Bull, who adopted her and bestowed upon her the name Watanya Cecilia, meaning Little Sure Shot. This honor not only acknowledged her talent, but also connected her to the cultural narratives of Native American respect and valor. In the spring of 1898, as tensions escalated toward the Spanish-American War, Oakley famously approached President William McKinley with an offer. In case of such an event, I am ready to place a company of 50 lady sharpshooters at your disposal. This bold statement underscores her commitment to using her skills for the greater good, reflecting the progressive spirit of the time and the emerging role of women in American society. The outlaws of the Old West were fortunate that she chose not to pursue a career as a lawman. Had she done so, Annie Oakley would have undoubtedly been among the quickest and most precise shots of her era. Oakley's legacy transcends her extraordinary shooting ability. She symbolizes the breaking of gender norms and the empowerment of women in a male-dominated society. Her story exemplifies how talent and determination can reshape perceptions and create new opportunities, highlighting the rich tapestry of American history that includes remarkable women who defied expectations. John Wesley Harden. John Harden, born on May 26, 1853 in Texas, is remembered as a notorious outlaw, gunfighter, and folk hero. From an early age, Harden found himself in frequent conflict with the law, a pattern that would define much of his life. He is often regarded as one of the most skilled gunfighters of his time, claiming the lives of at least 21 individuals in various gunfights and ambushes from 1868 to 1877. Growing up in the South during the tumultuous periods of the Civil War and Reconstruction, Harden harbored strong anti-black sentiments and a deep disdain for Union soldiers. His first fatal encounter occurred when he was just 15 years old, resulting in the death of an ex-slave, which he claimed was in self-defense. This incident marked the beginning of a turbulent lifestyle characterized by violence, gambling, and heavy drinking. Throughout his tumultuous career, Harden is said to have outgunned and killed multiple individuals, including at least 8 Union soldiers and 4 black policemen who were attempting to apprehend him for various murder charges. After a series of events led him to Pensacola, Florida, Harden was ultimately captured and extradited back to Texas. In September 1877, he stood trial for his numerous crimes and received a sentence of 25 years in prison. However, he was granted a pardon in 1894, after which he relocated to Gonzales, Texas, in hopes of starting anew. Tragically, his life came to a violent end just a year later when he was shot in the back of the head while standing on the porch of the Acme Saloon by a former rival. Harden's life serves as a reflection of the chaotic and often brutal realities of the Old West, where personal rivalries and societal tensions frequently escalated into violence. His story illustrates the complexities of a figure who, despite his lawless lifestyle, became a part of American folklore, embodying both the allure and the danger of the gunfighter legend. As we draw the curtain on our exploration of the 10 most lethal gunslingers of the Old West, it's clear that these remarkable figures shaped the violent and vibrant tapestry of frontier life. Each of them wielded their guns with a mix of skill and audacity, leaving behind legacies that still ignite our imaginations. Whether they were feared outlaws or celebrated lawmen, their stories serve as a testament to the untamed spirit of the West. If you enjoyed this dive into history's most infamous figures, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more captivating tales from the Old West and beyond. Your support helps us bring you more thrilling stories that celebrate the legends of yesteryear. Join us on this journey through time